Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again for another Market Watch Investments video for you guys today. So we have that structure deck coming out for Insectors. We still have not seen any reprints. There is some rumors about Maximum Gold seeing a reprint for Hornet, but we didn't get that apparently. So this is still a solo print, super rare from Order of Chaos. Really awesome old set, and prices are pretty dwindling on this. I'm really surprised. We're looking here, going back to the first page. It's about 5-6 bones average. Starting price is about 5 for the unlimiteds. Of course, you want to go first editions, and they're about 6. Plenty go around in the market, so kind of a little oversaturated in the market. Wanted to review some old school Gen 1 stuff like always. Let's go ahead and start with the big boss, Jinzo himself. This being one of the 2 secret rares out of the set, other one being Imperial Order, which unbanned a couple formats ago. Really awesome. Still to this day, just perfectly amazing artwork, and being a secret rare, being a Gen 1 secret rare with all its amazing aesthetic beautifulness, this is just an all-time fan favorite to say the least. Of course, we're going to be looking at Nearman Lightly Plaids. Unlimiteds alone, almost 30 bones, sitting around 29 starting market price. Only 3 pages here on the market for TCGP, and the first editions are donning a whopping 400 USDs. Pretty incredible, ladies and gentlemen. An awesome, awesome card. And next is going to be one of my all-time favorite cards. Of course, you know, there's a lot of great cards in this set. You know, you got Thousand Eyes, Restrict, you have Imperial Order, you have Premature Burial. What I want to talk more specifically about is Goblin Tack Force. Besides Jinzo, I mean, it's safe to say I think Jinzo is pretty much everyone's favorite card out of this set, mine included, rightfully so. I also really like Call of the Haunted as well. I did want to go ahead and review Goblin Tack Force because the artwork is just amazing on this card. I've actually been trying to hunt down some first editions for these for quite a while. I only have a few copies myself, and it's pretty much artwork for this. Plus, back in the day, I used to play an old school beater deck, and of course, this was back in the day. 2300 beater without tributing was pretty incredible, and just the artwork. And I don't normally go for ultra rares. I really bag on ultra rares a lot, but I really, really love old school generation ultra rares, and this was one of my all-time favorite cards ever. Just really, really great artwork. Unlimiteds are like nothing. They're like a couple dollars. There's about 5 pages here on the market. And let's go ahead and see if we can hunt down some first edition prints. Looks like those are definitely dwindling on the market here. First editions are going to come on the second last page, and they're at 11 bones. So not too terribly expensive. Trickle up to about 12-ish, 14 after that. So pretty nice price points on that. While that is loading, the second set that I want to review is going to be Legacy of Darkness. Of course, we have the infamous Yata-Garasu. Still to this day, one of the biggest ban cards probably up there that, you know, has not been released off the list. You know, with things such as, you know, Graceful Charity, Pot of Greed. There's just a lot of really old school cards that have just not seen the light of day, and Yata-Garasu is definitely one of those cards. So moving back to Pharaoh Servant, there's a lot of awesome cards. Again, reviewed Jinzo and reviewed Goblin Tack Force. Of course, Thousand Eyes pretty awesome. There is a secret rare promo that I prefer more personally. I mean, the first edition OG prints are awesome. Call of the Haunted, super awesome too. I'm a big Satana Knight player, so I love first edition original Call of the Haunteds. Legendary Fisherman, this is like a really cool collector's card as well. The last card that I wanted to review on here is actually going to be Imperial Order, though, because this card is currently at 1. And it's an amazing old school secret. I love the artwork on this. I kind of wish they made the card a little bit more foiled. The foil is really pretty much in like the garments and the royalty stuff, but really cool. Kind of reminds me of Royal Decree, this kind of artwork style stuff. Really awesome stuff. Several different prints of this now, but this being the OG and being a secret rare definitely leaves it unparalleled on the map. Unlimiteds are about 2 bones roughly. There's about 5+ pages here on the market. And of course, we want to go ahead and check out the first editions because that's what we're all about here on the channel. This is majority, primarily a collector's market channel. I just really love the collector's market, but a little bit of a mix here. But this video definitely is going to be bleeding heavily into the collector's market. It's about 10 bones. I'm actually surprised. I really thought that it would be a little bit more. I have actually several of these because I've been collecting band cards forever, and Imperial Order was always just a really blowout floodgate card. Unfortunately, they errated it, which, you know, it is what it is, but still an all-around awesome card. Alright, getting back to LOD, so Yatagarasu, the most infamous bird in all of the game here. Loved this format back in the day, Cookie Cutter Chaos with Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest and Chaos Emperor Dragon and Black Luster Soldier and all that great stuff. It was just really good time. Yata Lockout, still have nightmares of that format, but it was infamous to say the least. Unlimited is going to start around 27 bones. There's 4 pages here on the market, and it looks like there's going to be no first editions until the second to last page. Starting market price is going to be about roughly around $80, and then quickly jumps to $96. Rightfully so, an amazing card. And one of the last sets here that I'm going to review as far as Collector's Gen 1 market is going to be Dark Crisis, more specifically Vampire Lord. There's several different prints of this. This, of course, being the OG print as a secret rare. This, again, is one of my all-time favorite cards for artwork. I say that a lot. I have a lot of old-school favorite all-time cards, but you know, back in the day, Secret Rare was the top of the ceiling. There wasn't any Ultimate Rares. There wasn't any Ghost Rares. There wasn't any of these hybrid rares. Like, Secret Rare was, like, the top of the top. That was the ceiling break. And there was only 2 different Secret Rares per core set. So it was a really big deal when you got, you know, Super Rares and Ultra Rares and even so, more so, Secret Rares. Because, you know, it wasn't until several years ago that they switched to, you know, at least a Super Rare in every pack. So times change, but back in the day, it was very, very competitive to get these secret rares. You usually only get, from remembering correctly, you usually only got 1 per box, and it was usually one or the other. So because there were only 2, but I don't know, maybe there was some that you got both, but I'm pretty sure the majority of the ratios you only got 1 secret rare per box. So fun times. Unlimiteds are going to start around 8-ish market price for this. Of course, this isn't really much of a playable card. Back in the day, it's got some pretty infamous history. It used to be a really playable card. Not really competitive anymore, in my personal opinion, but an amazing collector's card for any zombie player. And just in general, like, the artwork is just so unparalleled on this card. I really love it a lot. Only 2 copies, or I guess 5 copies here on the market for first edition. Starting market price is all the way up to 68 bones, and then jumps immediately to 100 USD. So pretty incredible on that. Going back to Legacy of Darkness, let's see if this loaded. Looks like it's loading really, really slow. So I'm going to move on here to my campaign here of the Gen 1, 2, and 3 starter decks, this being Gen 3, the Reloaded series, Kaiba and Yugi. Again, only Ultimate Rare versions that we got of Blue Eyes and Dark Magician, and they're pretty much staying the same. There hasn't been much of a fluctuation. The Ultimate Rares for first editions, again, this is for collectability only. You only want to go first editions on these. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's still roughly around 9-10 bones the last time I reviewed this card. So still haven't hit any first editions. We're on the 5th page now. We hit our first editions for around 11 bones. So again, when I started noticing this card, I was picking them up for 4 5s. Now they're at 11. So very, very slowly. That was several years ago, about 2-3 years ago. So it's been a very, very, very slow increase. This is definitely a long-term investment. Same with Dark Magician, not faring quite as well. I think this one's still averaging around 5-6. If we can take a look here, it's about $4 for the Unlimiteds, but again, this is all for collectability purposes. You don't want to do anything with the Unlimiteds. You only want to go lightly played near mint first edition. And the first edition we're going to get here is about $6. And just to verify, we'll just go through one more page here. Yeah, about pretty much all across the board, 6 bones for the Ultimate First Dark Magician. Lastly, I wanted to review is the very first Generation 1 2002. We're talking about 18-year-old tins, ladies and gentlemen. This is incredible. One of my all-time favorite Yu-Gi-Oh products of all time. The Gen 1 tins were just insane. The 2003 series, 2004 series were pretty cool too. The Jinzo tin was actually probably my all-time favorite tin. I just really like Jinzo a lot. But nothing compares to the first lineup. And we got Secret Rare Dark Magician, Red Eyes. Blue Eyes was kind of, there's a lot of prints like this. I don't like this artwork. This is probably my least favorite out of the lineup. But of course, Summon Skull, B Skull Dragon, and Lord of D, which are all seeing incredible increases in price point values. So, I mean, you can see here the averages have just exponentially differentiated here. I mean, we got potentially Secret Rare Dark Magician going for about 130, 119 on Red Eyes, 85 for Blue Eyes, which is kind of silly because this kind of got, doubled up on reprinting, but it's an old card. Summon Skull is probably one of my favorites. Secret Rare Dark Magician is definitely my favorite out of this series, but then definitely would go to Summon Skull and then Red Eyes. They all look awesome. But surprisingly enough, the most affordable one is the Lord of D, and even we see that this potentially has been increasing as well. Now, I think it's safe to say that Lord of D is probably one of the more easier ones. I don't know if it was like over-manufactured or what. Still awesome artwork, really cool effect, was really good back in the day, and still very much an awesome rarity of Secret Rare. And then again, just the pure history and age behind these sets, and we're talking about 18 years plus, is pretty incredible. Starting price though is about 6.5 bones, and then it goes to about that, and then it goes to about 13. So only 2 pages on here, so it's starting to dwindle a little bit on the market. I wouldn't be too concerned about this, but it's definitely increasing. I remember, this card, like, no one was looking at this card. It was like $1, $2, $3 like all day long. Let's see if everything else has gone back and loaded yet. All right, so Vampire Lord was going to be one of the featured cards from the set. The next card was actually going to be Skill Drain. This card all across the board for all the copies is really good money. If you have Skill Drain, you're not using it, it's definitely a great sell. Also, I really hope this card gets lifted off of 1. This is one of my all-time favorite floodgates, and probably one of the most powerful floodgates in all of the game, my personal opinion, right up there with Macro Cosmos. The next card was going to be actually a super rare DD Warrior Layer. This is the original print. There's also some really nice Parallel Ultras from Hobby League, which will probably be my second favorite versions of this card, but this being the OG print, first editions exclusively, definitely right up my alley. Really amazing artwork. Back in the day, again, Cookie Cutter Chaos, this was like a staple pretty much at 3. And Unlimiteds are really just not anything at all, but it's when you get to the first editions for this card when we see some pretty great growth and value, jumping all the way from a couple bones up to 15 and then quickly even surplusing past that. So DD Warrior Lady is rocking it. And just to do a follow-up on LOD, of course, you have your GOAT players, and just in general, like Air Knight Parashaft is just an awesome card. What I wanted to talk about more specifically was going to be Marauding Captain Injection Fairy Lily. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Yatagarasu. This is definitely my number 1 for this set. Well, actually, if I'm so bold to say, it's my number 2, because Injection Fairy Lily is like the Dark Magician Girl for me. Everyone loves Dark Magician Girl. It's an amazing card. It's an extremely expensive card for Magician's Force as a secret rare. But this card, it's not as popular as Dark Magician Girl, but it's just as amazing, and that's just, player preference of some white Mexican logic for you. This card has been going up exponentially over the years, and I think it's just going to continue to go up, and this is just, it's an amazing, old school, high rarity of secret rare card, and I can't talk enough about this card. I have nothing but praise for this card. This is just an amazing target for the collector's value. I think the cheapest I've ever picked these up for was about $14, and that was like a long time ago. We're talking about like 4+ years ago. So the growth has just been exponential. We see about 5+ pages here on the market. The starting price, even for the Unlimiteds, is like around 13 bones. So not that long ago, there was about 8 or so. Now they're sitting about 13, 14-ish. So even the Unlimiteds are seeing some price fluctuation, which is pretty nice. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some first editions. Moving through the pages here. And the first edition we're going to get is $80. My goodness. Oh, I'm sorry, not $80. $767, and then quickly goes to $80. So not too far off. We're one sold sale from jumping this card all the way to $80. Which rightfully so, kind of rightfully, not rightfully so. I really want to get more of these cards, but they're just, continuing to increase, and rightfully so, because it's just an amazing card. All right, let's go back and let's take a look at, this is going to take me to Injection Failures. That's not what I want to do. I want to go back to Legacy of Darkness because I want to check out Marauding Captain, which again was a really, really great old school ultra rare that, back in the day was like unparalleled. Special summoning from your hand and additional special summon from the hand was pretty unheard of back in the day. Kind of reminds me of Gravekeeper's Spy, special summoning from the deck, and when Tour Guide came out, that was kind of like a whole nother level, and just a lot of chain reactions of stuff that's really, really great. And I really wish that the internet wasn't so terribly slow right now, because this is kind of taking a bit. I was going to just open up bunches of tabs, but there's just literally so many cards. Pretty much all the hollow foils from the first 13 core sets, if they're first edition and at least lightly played, they are all going to hold some sort of value to a certain extent just on pure age alone. So we'll probably have to get back to that. I don't want to make this video too long, but again, there you guys have it. Definitely check it out. Again, the majority of the reason for this video is just to be kind of flash prices and kind of get your gears turning in your mind to kind of go back and review and look at these sets and figure out, what is worth it for you guys. So, Pharaoh's Servant, Legacy of Darkness, and of course Dark Crisis, amazing Gen 1. Very well part of the 13 original core sets in the game. Some really great stuff. Just to recap, again, Blue Eyes and Dark Magician Ultimate First Editions, really, really great. Still very affordable, as well as, not really so much of these anymore. They definitely have had some great uptick in value. But Lord of D isn't too far off here. So all around, just amazing cards. Surprisingly enough, these are actually in old school collector bulks that you can find online. Those are an instant plus if you can get them for the right price. So I'm all about hunting down, Facebook Marketplace and garage sales, and also just eBay as well. I mean, you get one of these and you pretty much have a given. So it's pretty great, and they're just aesthetically just amazing. The biggest thing is you just have to make sure they're in great condition. That's all I have for you guys tonight. This has been a showcasing by The White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.